All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who teach and rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to the Akim out there laboring, of the hopeful elect that's doing this work in truth and sincerity. And pretty much I want to land back on the apostle, pretty much going into a heavy quote from Vladimir Lenin. Okay, and the time of Jacob's trouble was pretty much the topic that they were speaking about. And this was a after camp session with the Akim, the main camp, and pretty much the apostle. I'm gonna let him pretty much do a lot of the talking here to make the point. But we did some information out there, pretty much of how this place here in Babylon, they pretty much use him. And his philosophy as an influence on the way that this world is ran. All right. So without any further ado, we're gonna play a little bit from the apostle that was pretty much speaking upon the last camp session. So without any further ado.
Shalom to the 144,000 and rest of you elect out there. Shalom to you all. I'm gonna try to make this quick. Let's see where the spirit takes me. Anyway, I'm going to entitle this video a heavy quote from Vladimir Lenin in the time of Jacob's trouble. A heavy quote from Vladimir Lenin in the time of Jacob's trouble. If you don't know Vladimir Lenin, I'm going to open it up for you. Bring this over here. Vladimir Lenin. So this is the premier of Russia. Let me see, let me bring this over here. Vladimir Lenin, a Russian revolutionary, politician, and political theorist who was the founder and first head of government of Soviet Russia from 1917 until his death in 1924. And what they did with this guy, let me do this. Let me go to images. Because prior to that, you had the royal family, which were
right. The royal family pretty much was Nicholas II was the last standing czar of Russia. Okay, and they pretty much through the Bolshevik Revolution, pretty much killed him and his family. Now, Nicholas II and his line was the last royal family of Russia, and their line pretty much goes back to Jacob. Okay, now you got to remember, Vladimir Putin pretty much had the archives and the relics of when we were ruling in Russia. In the time of, pretty much the Byzantine Empire. Okay? So we had our line pretty much go back to them. And to this day, Russia pretty much still is a so-called Christian nation, so to speak. Okay? But the harp on to this individual by the name of Vladimir Lenin, okay? He had made a quote, okay? The quote was that there's decades when nothing happens, and there's weeks when decades happen, and we're talking about pretty much Jacob's trouble. All right, now we have to remember what he does is pretty much he disguises a lot of these wars, and when a lot of these wars are going on in the earth, okay, also at that time there's also Christian persecution going on. Okay, now we've been dealing with this from the beginning of time, okay? Even the time when the apostles pretty much were doing their ministry, okay? All right, but let me just get at one point real quick of when you look at the King James 1611, the prologue of it, pretty much an introductory of the King James Version, okay? Going to get into what was going on at that time, okay? All right. Now, pretty much, the question was there persecution going on when they were actually translating the 1611 KJV? And the answer is here, yes. There was religious persecution in Western Europe during the time of King James Version of the Bible was being translated and published in 1611. Okay, now we're going to go to the religious wars that were going on. Okay, from 1524 to 1648, Western Europe was embroiled in a series of religious wars between the Protestants and Roman Catholics, including the English Civil War of 1642 to 1651. Okay? All right. And it says, in England, religious disputes that led to translation of the KJV Bible escalated into English civil wars. Because now you had a lot of the pagan injection that was trying to be to pretty much collude the pure essence of the scriptures, and it's really tainted to this day as far as these religions, okay, these different philosophies where they incorporate pagan worship and pagan holidays and try to marry it to the scriptures. You see, okay, but it says here that King James commissioned the translation of the KJV Bible to solidify his reputation as a good king. However, the Bible included passages that limited the power of secular rulers, such as Deuteronomy 17th chapter. Okay, because it says here in the 17th chapters that the KJV Bible was a collaborative effort under the royal sponsorship and was the first major Bible translation since the Septuagint. Okay, which was introduced between the 3rd and 2nd centuries BCE. The KJV has been one of the most debated English versions of the Bible, and its words and phrases have had significant influence on the English language, okay? Because, this pretty much is a bastard language that we do speak, all right? And it tells you that the words, that are translated from the Hebrew into English don't have the same force, okay? But pretty much, going back to the prologue, and the prologue is really an introductory to where they were presenting this to the king as the finished product, speaking about, the finishing of the KJV Bible in this translation. And the persecution was going on during that time. But now we want to fast forward to Vladimir Lenin, okay, that made that quote, okay? All right? And pretty much that's what the apostle was going into. Now, he pretty much ousted the last Satan Tsar, which goes back to Jacob, and Jacob's trouble was going on at that time, okay, because we are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, first and foremost. And also, at that same time, in 1917, which is during the first Civil War, okay, you see, all right, Christian persecution, all right, let's get it, the persecution that was going on in Turkey at that time, okay? And it says here, Christians have faced persecution in Turkey for centuries, including genocides, violence, and discriminations. During World War I, the Ottoman Empire and the Republic of Turkey committed the Armenian, Greek, and Assyrian genocides, killing up to 3 million Christians. The Armenian genocide began in 1915, and more than 1.5 million Christians were murdered, many for refusing to renounce their faith. Okay? And when you go back to the Armenians and you go back to the people of that land of Turkey, all right, you have to remember, okay, that these are the areas where Paul, okay, and the apostles pretty much went to, okay, talking about Asia Minor, all right. You see, a lot of us were living in those lands, and those people there, fast forward, were descendants of those people, man. All right, us being scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, man, And this who these churches were set up, okay, chiefly in Turkey, okay, all right. When you talk about the New Testament and you talk about the letters that Paul wrote, these letters were going to these different churches in that region. You see, okay, and famous Armenians that you know to this day is pretty much the Kardashians are pretty much their line goes back to Armenians, all right, and you know they have that certain type of ethnic look to them, you know. Some people classify them as being white, but most white people don't classify them as being white. Okay, they're pretty much a ethnic group, so to speak, because they have the long, thick, dark, jet black hair. You see, all right, and they pretty much they love Jake, man. You know, and it was pretty much a episode where where Lamar Odom, which is a famous basketball player, pretty much was married to Khloe Kardashian, and pretty much this is when he played for the LA Lakers, and when he pretty much at the end of his career, he got a offer to play over in Europe, to play for a Turkish team, in a Turkish league. So when he brought the good news to his then wife Khloe, she became upset because Lamar Odom, which is a Jake, he didn't realize the bloody history that her people had suffered with the persecution by the Ottoman Turks, man. You see, okay, so that pretty much that history runs deep, man. Okay, you see, but it says here, Christians have faced violence in Turkey throughout history, including a program against the Greek Orthodox Church in 1955, the incidents in 1963 and 1974. In 2006, a Roman Catholic priest was murdered by a Muslim assassin, and in 2007, an Armenian journalist was murdered by a Turkish nationalist. You see? All right? And it says, Christians face discrimination in Turkey, especially in inland areas where attitudes are more conservative and Islamic. Armenian and Assyrian churches in the southeast face hostility from both ethnic Turks and Kurds. Now, you got to remember something now. What this damn Edom does is he creates these terrorist groups, so to speak. Okay? And these terrorist groups, when we want to talk about the words of ethnic cleansing and things of that nature, okay? Best believe that they're going after the Christians, man. Okay? All right, we can still talk about the same thing that's going on here in Gaza, man. Okay? You know, continually chasing the so-called boogeyman, so to speak. You know, he always sets up a boogeyman that's pretty much the culprit. And meanwhile, when you talk about a lot of the relics that were destroyed in the areas we want to now call Syria and Iraq, okay, over there in the so-called Middle East, a lot of the religious churches were burned and religious artifacts were destroyed, man. Okay, he is trying to erase the history of the Israelites, man. You see? Okay, so pretty much war has always been disguised with going along with Christian persecution, man. Okay, and that was pretty much in World War I. All right, now you want to talk about persecution that's going on to this day. Okay, all right. Another example is okay, and persecution that's going on in Nigeria. Okay, all right. Let's pull this up real quick. Right. It says, what does persecution look like in Nigeria? And we know that a lot of our people, okay, go back to these areas in Nigeria, man. Okay, a lot of them are Jakes. All right. It says Christians in Nigeria, particularly the Muslim majority North, continue to live under immense pressure and to be terrorized with devastating impunity by Islamic militants and armed bandits. More believers were killed for their faith in Nigeria each year than anywhere else in the world combined. Okay, because a bulk of our people are there, right? The attacks are often brutal in nature and can involve destruction of properties, abductions of ransom, sexual violence, and death. Believers are stripped of their livelihoods and driven from their homes, leaving a trail of grief and trauma. Okay? Now, it says here, violence by Islamic extremist groups such as Fulani militants and Boko Haram. Now, Boko Haram was really famous to when they had those, a few years back, when they had all of those school children held hostage, so to speak. Those young women. Okay? You see? And these organizations are pretty much set up, man. All right? Let's look at Boko Haram real quick. Okay? All right? This is pretty much a well-funded organization group, man. All right? And you see the unseen hand is pretty much orchestrating these things, man, to help persecute us and try to get rid of the seed of Israel, man. Okay? This is what this all boils down to, man. Okay? Boko Haram, pretty much a group of people of Sunan and Dawa and Jihad is an Islamic terrorist jihadist organization based in northeastern Nigeria, which also active in Chad, Niger, and northern Cameroon and Mali. Okay, and these are all the areas of western West Africa. Okay, where we are at, man. And these terrorist groups are pretty much funded, okay, by Edom, man. Okay, you see, and you're seeing now there's a lot of persecution that's still going on now, and a lot of money is being funneled, all right, through aid packages sent to Ukraine. Okay, now the aid packages sent to Ukraine, okay, as far as money and aid packages are pretty much distributed throughout the four corners of the earth, pretty much to persecute the Christians, man. Okay? All right, and this is a lot of information that's out there, okay, and whistleblowers have pretty much called this out that people don't know about, man. Okay? So pretty much, you know, let's get the scripture real quick. Okay? All right? Because Jacob's trouble will surely come here to Babylon, man. Okay? It will surely come here to Babylon. Without a shadow of a doubt. You see? All right? Let's get real quick. Let's get Jeremiah. Verse 7. At last, for that day is great, that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but ye shall be saved out of it. You see? Okay? And pretty much, man, Jacob's trouble is going on as we speak, man. Okay? Amongst, okay, our people scattered throughout the four corners of the earth that are pretty much catching hell. Okay? And that hell is pretty much gonna come here to the bulk of the people here in Babylon, man. You see? Okay? And this all surrounds around the persecution, man. Okay? And you got entering now into this third world's war. And best believe, okay, the Northern Kingdom that's here, that pretty much, you know, the administration is pretty much saying now that they, you know, they're going to send them back. Best believe that they're going to be put into those concentration camps, man, that are set up, man. Okay, and that time to come, man. Okay? All right? They're not going to just be easily just deported, man. Okay? You know, you understand that hey, the Lord pretty much is setting it up to where the bulk of the tribes are here in Babylon, man. Okay, and he's not going to easily let these people out of his crutches, man, until he gives them that charagma, so to speak. Okay, you see, all right. It's an easy task for them that be in his clutches, okay, and to implement his mark upon them, man. Okay, before anything, you see. Okay, so now we're going to see how that pretty much how that deportation pans out, so to speak. Okay, there's going to be strings attached to that sentiment. You see? All right. Let's get real quick. Let's get Isaiah real quick. Isaiah chapter 14. Verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? This means light bearer, son of the morning. How art thou cut down to the ground, that did it weakens the nations? You know, and this man is pretty much, his kingdom is fallen. Okay? All right? He knows he's at the end of his road. And he has an accomplishment to partake in, man. Okay? Remember, this is the Lord's movie. Okay? All right. So whoever, and he has to so-called thin the herd, so to speak, chiefly with you Christians, man. Okay, all around the four corners of the earth. Okay, all right, because he knows he got the records, man. He knows where our people are. Okay, he knows where our line goes back to. He pretty much knows the people that were dispersed throughout the four corners of the earth. He knows in pockets of areas where we dwell, man. You see? Okay? And when you look at the list of persecuted countries of Christians, you got it in China, you got it in Iran, you got it in Afghanistan, okay? Places like North Korea, you see? Okay? We're scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, man. You see? And it says, right? And ultimately, hey, weakening the nations, man. Okay? He systematically weakens these nations. This is the reason why you have a lot of the migrants fleeing here to Babylon. Okay? Because through his economic policies and pretty much his covetousness of the land's resources, he has forced the people to flee that land, man, to seek a better life and to fall right into his clutches, man. So that's why I said that the deportation is not going to go smoothly as he says it's going to go. Okay? It's not going to go, it's going to go with strings attached, so to speak. Okay? You see? But it says, verse 13, for thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. Okay? He has done that. Okay? You see, with that International Space Station, okay? You know, he pretty much he's pretty much is governing the earth through those satellites, man. Okay? You see? Right? He said, I will also sit upon the mount of the congregation of the sides of the north. Okay? And pretty much, man, his man has the children of Israel in his possession, man. Okay? And continues to have them in his possession, man. All right? He says, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell and to the sides of the pit. Right? It says, they that see thee shall now look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble and that did shake kingdoms? Okay? You see? And this man is pretty much making the earth to tremble, man. Okay? You see? But now you're having the weak saying that they're strong. You know? Okay? But it says, that made the world a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners. And he's not. Okay? He refused to let us go, man. Okay? So that talk about deportation is not going to go off without strings attached to it, man. Okay? You see? This man will try to attempt to implement his will, okay, upon the children of Israel, man. Okay? No doubt about it. All right? All right? From there, and just to prove a point real quick, okay, of time of persecution that was going on, all right? I'm going to hit something real quick in the book of Acts, the 11th chapter. Just want to hit the point real quick, you know, and it says pretty much, this is where they were pretty much, you know, the Israelites that were scattered and that fell away, that were going into the Greek customs, were trying to bring them back into the fold. Now, just going to pick it up right here at Acts 11 and 19. Now they which were scattered abroad upon the persecution that arose about with Stephen. You know, Stephen, pursuant to Acts the 7th chapter, pretty much, you know, was persecuted and put to death, so to speak. Okay? After he had cursed them out, man. Okay? And gave them the history of the people, man. You know? Okay? But it said the persecution that arose about with Stephen traveled as far as Phoenix and Cyprus and Antioch, preaching the word to none but unto the Jews only. Okay, and these areas are pretty much in what you want to call modern day Turkey, so to speak. Okay, all right. So we definitely had descendants, even into the 20th century, that were still dwelling in those lands, man, in bulk. Okay, prior to 1915. Okay, you see, all right. And pretty much that was the point I wanted to really make, all right, of us really. And these are the areas that Paul had went to, man, all right. But you're seeing this persecution that's going on, all right, throughout the world, man, all right. and that people are not privy to what this man is doing behind the scenes, man. Okay? Man, this man, he is a method to his madness. Okay? This is Micah chapter 2, verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it's in the power of their hands. Okay? And this man has been given power of the sword, man. Okay? All right? So he's pretty much doing the will, really, ultimately, the Heavenly Father set him up for, man, to be the wicked. Okay? It says, and they covet fields and take them by violence, right? You know, and they take these fields by violence, these countries, these resources. Okay? You see? All right? This man's going to dwell in the fatness of the earth, so to speak. So anywhere where there's riches are, the most beautiful places to dwell, all right, this man is in possession of those places. Okay? It says, right, that you covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away, so that they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage, man. And it's pretty much what they're doing through Christian persecution, man. Okay? And this place follows the philosophy of a man like Vladimir Lenin, okay, which was one of the forefathers of what you want to call the Soviet Union, so to speak. Okay? All right? And once again, his one of his quotes was that there are decades when nothing happens, you know, okay? And there are weeks when decades happen, okay? And that's bloodshed, pretty much, speaking of, okay? All right? That's what he was referring to, all right? But it says, therefore, thus say Yahweh, behold, against this whole family, right, Edom, do I devise an evil from which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall y'all go haughtily. For this time is evil. You see? Okay? The time of evil is coming, man. Okay? You see? All right? From there, let's go to Psalms 11:7. You know, I just played a little portion of the video. I didn't go into where Priest Shaman, pretty much of the main camp, pretty much read the quote for Vladimir Lenin, but it was a big topic of discussion, and pretty much the apostle left an open door for pretty much going into Jacob's trouble at that time. What does that mean? Okay, and even back then, you know, persecution was going on in Russia, persecution was going on in Turkey. Okay, all right, persecution was also actually going on in a lot of Eastern European countries, man. Okay, you see? All right, you know. Now it says here, right? This is Psalm chapter 10, verse 7. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. Okay, this man boasts of his heart's desire, man. You know, okay? This man is pretty much a raging lunatic, so to speak, man. Okay? All right? Because we're at the sand of the sea. And this man is doing everything in his power, man, to rid the children of Israel, man. Okay? Best believe. Okay? But it says, he sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. Okay? And this happens on all around the world where you Israelites dwell, man. Okay? You so-called quote-unquote Christians, so to speak. Okay? He sitteth in lurking places of the villages, and secret places do he murder the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor. And the poor is really representing Israel, man. Okay? That's who his eyes are privily set against, man. Okay? We're seeing this man's persecution and genocide right before our eyes, man. On a world stage. And people are acting like there's nothing going on. Okay? You see, the power of the media has people's attention shot away from that. Okay? But the world powers see it, man. Okay? They see this man for who he is, man. Okay? You even got these international entities, okay, that want to actually arrest the people that involved with this whole thing, man. Okay? With Gaza. You see? But it says, he lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den. He lieth to wait to catch the poor. He do catch the poor when he drove him into his net. Right? And that's what he does, man. Okay? He's lying in wait to catch the poor, man. Okay? He set snares and traps, man. You know? He croucheth and humbleth himself, that the poor may fall by his strong ones. And he has said in his heart, God hath forgotten. Right? Hath forgotten what? You see? He's saying that God hath forgotten his covenant. That's what he's basically, essentially saying to himself. The Lord forgot his covenant with his people, man. He hideth his face. He will never see it. You see? Okay? Right? It says, arise, O Yahweh, O power, lift up thine hand, forget not the humble. You see? But pretty much, man, it says again, I'm going to read 11 again. Right? And this is what he says. He saith in his heart, his mind, the Most High hath forgotten. Forgotten what? Okay? He said that he'd forgotten pretty much the covenant, man, that he had made with his people. You know, this is in E's mindset right here. Okay? You see? Because he was able to do all these atrocities, man, and has nothing been done to avenge that. You see? So this man's been winning, man. He's been winning for hundreds of years now, man. Okay? All right? You see? But it says, right? The Most High forgotten, he have hid his face. He will never see it. Okay? Because the Lord did turn his back on us, though, man. But the Lord has pretty much turned his face back into us again. And this is why these prophecies are popping like popcorn, man. Okay? The prophecies are coming together. We're seeing how the Lord's word is faithful and true, man. Okay? We're pretty much seeing how the Lord is pretty much playing this whole thing out, man. You know? Okay? But pretty much, man, Jacob's trouble is coming, okay? And they're following behind that philosophy of what that Vladimir Lenin has said, man. Okay? So we're going to have a time of trouble, man. And it's going to be a time where a lot of things are going to be going on, man. Okay? All right? And the Lord's going to empty out, ultimately, all the plagues as he did before from Egypt, you know? Okay? This is spiritual Egypt. And pretty much, you know, ultimately, the weapons of his indignation, okay, to pretty much lay this place flat, man. Okay, you see? So pretty much, you know, that's about it. But just want to, you know, give my little take on Vladimir Lenin and his philosophy, okay, and pretty much, you know, war always being a guise to ultimately really destroy the Christians at the end of the day, man. Okay, you see? So with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakakwadash. Shalom.